Good evening, everyone. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. And thank you for joining me tonight and my guests. I've got a couple of awesome guests lined up for this, the pilot episode of Be My Guest. And if you're watching the show, then please take a moment to go and share this on your social medias. Share it across Facebook, Twitter. If you're on YouTube, then don't forget to subscribe. But we'll be looking at comments during the show, and we'll put some up on screen as well. So be engaged in the conversation. If you've got a question for any of my guests, then I'll see if I can share it, and we'll get them to give an answer. Each of the guests is going to have approximately 15 to 20 minutes to have a chat, and we'll talk about things that are in their lane, and feel free with myself as well to ask any questions of me that you may have if you choose to do so. Those that know me know that I love basketball. Obviously have applaudable.net is my new podcast network, as well as YouTube channels, Ozswish, and People with a Passion. So before I start, next week we'll be giving away some pizza vouchers. Kindly, the CEO of Domino's, Don Mage, gave those to me several months ago when I was doing live streaming with friends. So what we'll be doing is next week, we'll actually start giving those away. This is the test pilot stream of Be My Guest. But what I want to do now is I want to get you guys to share the live stream across your socials. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the share button and invite other people to join in. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube and everything, please like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't know where People with a Passion is, make sure you search that on YouTube. Right now, I'm going to bring in my first guest. Tonight's guest is from Australian New Zealand Basketball Scouts, Richard Bolaffi. So without further ado, we'll bring him in and find out what he's up to. Hey, Richard, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good evening, Craig. How are you? Long time no see. Well,
yeah, it's been a couple of years.
It's been a while since we get together. I just heard the news that you're giving away pizza vouchers, and I think the last time we caught up, we actually had a pizza. I think it was on the Gold Coast, wasn't it, or in Brisbane?
Yeah. So we got. I think we caught up for a meal, actually. So we didn't eat pizza. I don't remember what I ate. Do you remember what you ate?
I remember what I ate. That was going back a while ago when we were there to wish Nick Sarin all his best off to college.
He was off to college. Well, he's back now. He's playing for the Brisbane Capitals, so under Sammy Mack.
Well, he did really well. He was at Ohlone for about a year. Then he came back, and then he went I think to the College of the Ozarks in Missouri. I think it was in the Christian Conference. He did sensationally well there, and he's back now. So,
yeah, shout out to Alan Robinson, who's just given a shout out and said, "Hey, legend." I'm assuming that's for you. It's for both of us. He's a hypnotist. I actually interviewed him on my show. So, no, that's pretty good. Yeah, no, he's back, and he's playing in the QSL Division 1. So yeah, no, obviously you and I have followed his journey all the way through the last 3 years. And we keep saying we're going to get together next time you come up here. So, but look,
I did have plans. I mean, I had 2 tickets. I had 2 trips booked. One with my wife to come up and spend about a week or so there, and then another time I was coming up. I'm actually working with somebody in Queensland at the moment, and someone who Dan Murphy. Who are working together, and Dan's daughter is, I think she's starting 5 at Seattle University, and she's kicking some amazing goals there, and so Dan, I had all plans to spend some time with Dan and go see Brian and see yourself, etc., and then I have to write like what we're doing all these scenarios like ... Then COVID arrived, So everything got cancelled. I think I spent most of the first couple of months just trying to get refunds on all our tickets.
Yeah, so tell everyone a little bit about yourself, Richard. Tell them what you actually do, because we haven't explained that. We're just, you and I are connecting, but let's give them a bit of a background of what Australian New Zealand Basketball Scouts actually do, mate.
Okay. Well, we developed this entity to be able to provide a complete holistic approach to players that who want to either improve their skill or go overseas and do things in different formats. So what we actually did was I had a lot of athletes who wanted to go to college, so I spent some time becoming an intern for another scouting organisation and trying to find out exactly how we could possibly do this and how do we do it better than everybody else. I knew exactly what everyone else was doing and what they were offering. A lot of it had to do with a lot of money, and a lot of it probably not a lot of reporting, but a lot of money. And hence what I did is to be able to find out what we should be doing, and very much like trying to find out and make ourselves considerably better than what everybody else was doing. So hence we started helping kids get to college, and we started charging minimal, and even now our prices are probably 1/3 of what everybody else is charging anyway. So that's probably 1/3 of the next cheapest, and probably about 15% of the most expensive. But I'm all about getting it right. I'm very passionate about what we do. We just want to get it right, and part of getting it right is to help everybody holistically. So as much as we help, we get athletes go to college, and that's really good, and we can and we follow their journey and we spend time with them. And it's like the Jerry Maguire model, less athletes, more attention to detail, if I can put it from that perspective. And so once we got kids to college, I had a lot of college kids contact me because there was a couple of recruiting companies that have actually gone out of business now. One of them went bankrupt in the last couple of years, and they started contacting me saying, "Is it well? Everyone, sort of like persuaded me to go to college, and I've done 2 years or 4 years in college, but now I'm coming back to Australia. What do I do? Someone needs to help me get a gig here." So free of charge, we used to help a lot of players get gigs here in Australia. So they come back from college and we find places for them. I found, places for them where Michael Catlin was doing Bundaberg, and we've got some other players in South Australia and in WA. We've got some players, and obviously quite a lot here in Victoria and a couple in New South Wales. And then that was good. And then all of a sudden I had all these imports coming up to me saying, "Is it, well, gee, if you can help everybody, can you help us?" So we've been helping probably 40 or 50 imports that we've helped. And I have a database of about 120 imports that probably contact me on a regular/irregular basis to be able to say, well, where are we, where can you find me a job? And I was just on WhatsApp with one just recently out of Canada. Happens to be a good friend of Mitch Creek's, who said to me, can you get me a job? And he's got a unique situation because he's a professional and he's also a physiotherapist, and he wants me to give him a hand. So I'm giving him a hand to do that. Then I spoke to a friend of mine, Olaf Boritz, and Joey Wright, who you know well, and we know Joey, and Joey always does a good shout out to me, so I'm really happy with Joey. I actually helped Joey's daughter Sydney. Joey and I worked together, and we got Sydney to Utah Valley. There was no pathway for success in the NBL, so free of charge, I do a lot of the grassroots scouting for the NBL Pro Combine, which is a 2-day camp for NBL hopefuls to try and get them to strut their stuff in front of all the NBL coaches and assistant coaches. And that's been going on now we did it the first time. NBL have taken it over from us, but I'm saying is that, I say to them that conditional that I'm still involved, I'm quite happy to still be involved. And I do a lot of the grassroots scouting. So I travel to different states and I go to probably about 5 or 6 basketball games here on a weekend, just to be able to have a look at players and see who the next, NBL hopefuls or who the next superstars are going to be. And I liaise with different coaches, and I probably speak to Jamie O'Loughlin quite regularly, and talk to Mike, and obviously CJ and everybody else, and obviously the guys in Melbourne who I know quite well, and obviously Joey was in Adelaide. I just spoke to Brian Gorgon, by text message a couple of days ago, so or maybe a week ago. So we're just trying to help out, and the whole idea is there's got to be someone who's going to be able to provide a pathway from kids who want to go to college to NBL. And everything in between. So we've been doing this quite successfully for the last 6 or 7 years. I'm finding people in different states who are helping us, but we don't want to become too big too quick, and we want to be able to make sure that we do the right thing. So we do we spend a lot of time with athletes, spend a lot of time with coaches, and spend a lot of time going to their games and watching their videos, and and making sure that we have a really good understanding of what their requirements are. Because, you've got colleges, there's no use trying. I mean, I remember receiving a phone call from a girl who was in North Dakota, who's from Perth, and she rang me up and she said, "I'm a beach bum and I'm stuck in North Dakota. Can you get me out of here? I need to go to Florida." So we tried our very best to be able to assist her to get further south in order that she can find some sunshine somewhere, because it was like a frozen hellhole, as she put it.
Yeah.
So we just do our best and trying to, make some friends on the way, and we have a lot of people that like what we do. Most of the time we're very successful. I think most of the people, I'd say a good 90% of the people that we deal with, we get full scholarships across the board. We've just had 4 people who left in the last couple of weeks to go back to the United States, and it was great.
So there's a little bit of an issue there with for a while with people who were, when they did the online studies, that they were saying if their university or college wasn't going back to actual college, that there were some issues there. So have you had or encountered any of those issues, and was there a lot of question marks around some of that stuff for a while?
There was a couple of people that got permission via the school, etc., to be able to redshirt for a year and then go back, because I thought that maybe they will go back because what's the use of going back now if we're not going to play or we're not going to do anything? But they said that the school was going to be back, and because the way that in the United States they've got a different outlook to what we've got here, they're saying is that, look, let's just get on with it. One coach who I spoke to this morning just said, look, we know we're all wearing masks and we're all got sanitizers and we're all in the gym and we're all training. When they're doing like suicide runs or something, they're putting their mask down, but when they're doing some shooting, they're keeping their mask back on, and they're just trying to find a way to try and find some sort of normality. We want to really squash the numbers here, especially here in Victoria. We've had this second wave, which has really been devastating for us with our aged care and with the hotel quarantine issue that we had here. But our government wants to nail it down to the flooring and be close to COVID zero as possible. But who knows what's going to happen? I suspect that by the time we get to that sort of state, we'll probably have some form of, hopefully maybe some sort of vaccine that might be able to assist. But unfortunately, I'm not in the medical profession, so I really can't offer any assistance to anybody.
Dr. Bolaffi. So,
how scary.
The situation with COVID here obviously is a lot better than down south at the moment. And one of the things I'm still up in the air about, I'm adding to my programs next term. But there's things or projects that I was working on that I've actually put on hold based on the numbers. That when it was going to be a podcast course, I was hoping to hold. First, I was going to hold, I think, around May, and then it became October, and then I realized, there's no timeline here. I don't want to rush it through. I think I was limited to 10 per room, and I just figured, why am I putting pressure on myself when I'm told I can only have 10 at the podcast course? So I'll be teaching, podcasting and stuff, but that can wait till next year. But I didn't want to sort of make plans. So it sort of has your plans on hold, as you just discussed with the next gen, the NBL combine. You and I connected earlier to try and determine if that was going ahead next year, and you seem to have tentative dates with fingers crossed. So how's that still looking? Is it still looking to be around someday?
My last conversation with the NBL was that 2020 was going to be a non-event. Obviously, and obviously that's going to be disappointing for some of the hopefuls that we're going to be either coming to Australia, or some of the hopeful up and comings, because we have a lot of boys that come through the NBA Global Academy as well as the Institute of Sport, so they get invited as well anyway. So like a couple of years ago when Alex Madronia came back from St. Mary's, he was at the combine, and now he's with Adelaide. We've had quite a bit of success with especially with the boys with the IAS coming back in and coming to the combine, and then ending up in an NBL team, whether it be as a development player or whether it be as on the roster. So, but going forward, 2021, I'm probably going to have a conversation. I end up having a conversation with Sean Gottliebson or somebody else, or Ben Jopling, to be able to find out, when's the plan for 2021. I'm hoping that it's going to be round about the May 2021, but I haven't spoken to them about it at this stage. So who knows? Just have to wait and see.
Yeah, sure.
Well, everything. Well, I have to be honest with you. The majority, this all gets run out of Victoria, and the problem that we've had here is that we've been in complete lockdown. And for those people who don't know, we're on a 1 hour a day exercise regime. You're allowed to leave the house to go to the 4 reasons of caring or shopping, or if you have to work, etc. Outside of that, we're on a curfew from 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. You're not allowed outside the house. And I was actually having a look at a couple of traffic reports that you can find on your iPhone, and I was having a look at photos last night, and then the streets are like just live cameras. They're just, everything's just dead. So from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. you're not allowed outside the house. It's like a $1,700 fine.
Yeah, so no one's wanting to, especially if people aren't earning income, they're not wanting to risk those.
We all don't make that much money that we can sit there and afford to throw away $2,000 every time someone says. But then there's some people out there which are getting fined because at 2 o'clock in the morning they decide they want to go outside for a pizza. One lady said that she wanted to go outside to get a pizza and went for a drive at 2 o'clock in the morning and then complained that she got a $2,000 fine.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people trying to hop the border still, and they've thrown the book at those people. I think $14,000 fines and $6,000 fines, and they've had to increase the fines as a disincentive for closing the border. No, the closing of the border seems controversial, but ultimately, I think it's winning. Well, people of Queensland are happy that Anastasia Palaszczuk is actually.
Well, you don't want to have a second wave, and we don't want a third wave. Right, this second wave that we've had in Victoria has been devastating for our economy and devastating for everything else. Now, I'm really lucky that I do work with a couple of universities and I lecture in a couple of universities. So all of that is on Zoom, and obviously all of my basketball business is all on Zoom too. So I've got my coaches. It's either Zoom or WhatsApp or Messenger, and we try and. We do the best we can. So I've been one of those really lucky ones that've been able to work. And there's some people out there who are, I've got to think for, and you've got to feel for the people that can't work. And to be, I mean, I officially finished working at a university to start the next part of what I was doing on the 17th of March. And I've been home ever since, give or take, going to the shop or going to go visit my mum. Outside of that, I've been at home since mid-March. Mm-hmm. It's a long time. I love these walls, but
So we've known each other for several years now, and we talked about dominating and reinventing the basketball space, how we dream. So we take on the world. But one of the things I wanted to ask you is, how have your plans changed with COVID? Have you seen opportunity, or have you seen anything that where you've made a pivot where it hasn't affected the business, or have you seen opportunity? Like, you obviously a lecturer and you use the Zoom stuff. Are you finding that you're using the online stuff more to connect with athletes, or is that something you always did?
Well, apart from I used to go to watch trainings and go to games here, especially in Victoria, or I'd go back to my original hometown of Adelaide and spend some time with all of my Adelaide friends and go to games in Adelaide. Or my plans were, as I said, that I was going to catch up with Dan and go to see the Pirates, because I remember that Ryan Vines many years ago was with the Pirates. He used to go up there and have a look at their game, but I think he's come down to Victoria now. So, but what's actually happened is that because of COVID, and especially with the colleges in the United States, now they don't remember, these college coaches never used to really want to talk to us because they never had the time. They were training 4 or 5 hours a day, and any free time they had that was precious to what they had to do, whether it be in answering emails or looking at players or going out and seeing players at different tournaments, etc. Because COVID put everything on hold, all of a sudden, I had all these college coaches that were just quite happy to talk to me. I remember talking to one college coach who actually said to me, he goes, "I cannot believe I spent 2 hours on the phone with you. I've never spent this time on the phone with anybody." And that's actually been beneficial for us, because a lot of coaches, they're still recruiting. Now, I've got coaches who are recruiting for next year. I've just had another boy contact me yesterday who I'm working with right now, who I just told him a few minutes ago to get online and so we can say hello. And he said, and I said, we've got this opportunity now that I've got these coaches who are asking for players right now. I had a coach yesterday who said, one of my I had an international that was coming in from Russia, but he's sick as a dog and his parents are sick or something. He can't make it. I need a shooting guard. Help me out here. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll see what I can find. So I got coaches talking to me, which is really good. So I got coaches looking 21, now 21, sort of like late start 21. Most of the rosters are full. So a lot of JUCOs are asking for players. 22, so 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. I've got a lot of Div 1 women coaches who are asking for 23, 24 already.
Yeah.
So
how do people connect with you? So athletes, I'll start to wind this one up, and we will connect down the track. I'll stay in touch because Be My Guest is going to be on. So I'd love to hear how things evolve when we finally get a vaccine. So I'll make sure I get you in again. Obviously, we stay connected. But I've put up your website, so they
thank you very much.
Website. But how do they get in touch with you?
Well,
and you've got obviously Dan here in Queensland. So
yeah, we got Dan Murphy, who works in Queensland with us, and he's at and you can always contact him via our Facebook page. So you can go to our Facebook page, which is it's at Basketball Scouts. So it's Australia and that's the ampersand, the and symbol. So Australian and NZ Basketball Scouts. You can find us on Facebook. Don't forget to like our page, or on Instagram or on Twitter. On Instagram, it's all there. But if you go to our website and you can go to our Contact Us page, that'll come directly to me. So you can either contact me or I'm Richard at anzbs.com. It's very simple, and Dan is Dan at anzbs.com. So we're very easy to find, and we're very easy to get in contact with.
Perfect. No worries, Richard. I really appreciate you taking your time on Father's Day.
No worries.
Day, mate. So
yeah, I put out a shout to all the fathers on our Instagram and Facebook page today to wish all the fathers are happy. I always say to people that we got, the fathers are the ones that keep on driving the kids to training. I've got such a once I had kids playing in rep systems here and in state leagues, and my son who played in the state team. I had a more respect for my father and my mother for taking me to every training, every game, etc. So, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there who are, slaving around trying to help the kids achieve their dreams. But we're always here to do exactly the same thing.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it, and thanks for that send out. Best wishes for
Craig. I look forward to catching up with you when I finally get to Queensland. Anyway, once we're out of this lockdown.
Fingers crossed, mate. Take care.
Thanks, mate. All the best. Take care.
So thanks. That was Richard Bolaffi. As you can see, the website address is there on the screen. So make sure you write that down if you're an athlete that's looking to try and get over to the US, or if you're an international athlete looking to find a gig here in Australia in some of our leagues. It works both ways. So you can see that website down there. While I'm on the issue of websites, I'm about to speak to someone who's just started a YouTube channel. So we're going to talk about their journey. But before I do, I want to talk about People with a Passion, which is my YouTube channel and podcast. So if you want to check out the People with a Passion YouTube channel, that's what it looks like. You can go search for People with a Passion on YouTube. There's a whole heap of videos and things up there. You can see some of the live streams there have been with NBL coaches down the bottom, and obviously going up tonight, the very first episode of Be My Guest. If you want a guest on this show, all you have to do is reach out by emailing mail@applaudable.net. I'll put that up. So if you want to be a guest, then by all means come and connect with me, talk about your passion, talk about what you absolutely love to do. So make sure you go and subscribe to that channel and also hit that notification bell. You can see the socials there for Insta, Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms as well. Look forward to it. About to bring in our next guest. So that will be who we got.
Hey, mate.
It's Jimmy. Rosenow.
Hey, how are you?
How are you, mate?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, mate. What are we going to be talking about? Oh, the rookie investor.
That's it, mate. Yeah. Look, for those who don't know me, so I'm actually an electrician by trade, which I'm 27 years old. I like basketball, AFL. Played sport my whole life, as you know, Craig. You're one of my coaches. But yeah, recently all about trying to help young people invest. It's I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch, but I've just been privileged. Speaking of Father's Day right now, my dad sort of instilled some some cool things for me, to help me sort of get ahead in life. And I just feel like starting a YouTube channel, helping some young people out there is kind of what I'm sort of passionate about doing.
That's awesome, mate. I think I had a little. Oh, that's you. This is still a test, so I'll try and get myself back up. We work out how to do this. I muted myself there, but yeah. So that's pretty cool, mate. The fact that you've jumped into YouTube, you had a little bit of a stint there of trying some podcasting with one of your good mates, and you did the shoe challenge and everything like that. So Matty D. So I'll actually get Matty D on at some stage to banter about his experience with you and the stuff that you guys got up to. You're almost family these days, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Yeah, we're close. So we sort of had a little dip with the sports podcasting. We're still doing a bit of it. It's called Opinions from the Sideline. So we're kind of doing a bit of work with the QSL at the moment. So for those who don't know, the local basketball league, the state league now. So we're doing a bit of commentary for the Sunshine Coast Rip. So we've been having a bit of fun with that. So it's been good.
Yeah, no, it's good. And tell us, so you had the Opinions of the Sideline, and because two individuals, it is a bit hard to juggle time. So I asked you why you sort of put a stop to that. And plus the AFL and COVID didn't help because you're planning on this big push of covering the AFL season. As you said. Absolutely. So, it died in the arse a little bit. But tell me why you then looked at YouTube. I mean, you put some of the opinions from the sideline stuff up on YouTube. Why the pivot to the personal finance? I know you say you want to help others like yourself, but you could just do that without the YouTube channel. So was it your experience with Opinions from the Sideline that said, hey, I think I'll do this now?
Yeah, it was a little bit of that as well. You're right. Like you can sort of do it without having a YouTube channel, but at the same time, I was getting a lot of questions just from friends and family, and just simple questions that I feel like a lot of things aren't taught in schools. Like, I mean, we get taught, the quadratic formulas, the Pythag, but no one from school gets a real solid basis of just how to look after funds, how to purchase a house with a loan, how to do basic things financially, which I never got taught. And I went to a private school. I never got that. But hedging towards YouTube, I just feel like a little bit of a taste from Opinions from the Sideline kind of got me to fall in love with YouTube a little bit. So it was a bit of fun being in front of the camera, and it was just, I enjoyed every moment of it. So we'll just see what happens from here. Yeah,
so I've had a look, had a sticky beak. You need money to invest, so I don't think you're helping me. No, most people have money, mate. But
that's the myth, mate. That's the myth. We're any little bit can get you started. It's not necessarily the main thing I wanted to crush with doing this stuff is that a lot of people would say, like, especially with COVID, and the reason why I started the channel now, I would never invest money in this market. I'm going to lose all my money. This is like gambling, and it's in fact the opposite. If you just do your basic research and you learn the fundamentals, it's certainly not gambling. I would much rather invest money than put money on black. Trust me.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I started a podcast network, as we've discussed recently, and I spoke to you about this individual. So Dev Raja's Personal Finance is actually one of the podcasts on applaudable.net, which is actually the brand that's bringing you this podcast right now to those that are watching. So, he's on there, and he's actually got over 100,000 downloads. He's getting over 1,500 downloads per episode of his podcast. He's got 80 up there. So again, if people want the rookie investor, if people want to follow you on YouTube, they can do that. He is a podcast. He's on applaudable.net. So he can go to applaudable.net and check out the 10 podcasts that we have up there. People with a Passion, obviously, is one that's up there, as well as a number of others. So if you're wanting, and you're right, it's not taught in schools. And stupidly so. People just don't want you to make money. They want you to work for them. So it
seems that way, yeah.
Like, I'm self-employed, and I would never go back and work for another person. And but I know how important working was to get me to the point where I could jump jump ship and go out and swim on my own. I would never do. Like when I was young, I learned that, and I do think guys like yourself that have trades in electrical and air conditioning, like you do, that you can at some point you'll jump ship, and you'd be silly not to work for yourself. And also on the investment point of view, you're absolutely correct. I have different approaches of how I earn income, but basically, as far as personal investment goes and investment, you want your money to make money for you. It's like making little babies for itself. It's like you put money somewhere and it continues to work while you sleep. So it's just silly not to actually have some form of investment. So have I simplified that?
Yeah, pretty much. I actually I just uploaded a video now. It was basically it was kind of touching on the fact that I feel like in Australia we have a little bit of a culture where we're very conscious of how much we're earning, but we're not as conscious of what we're spending or how we're making our money work for us. So I think there's a bit of a cultural thing in Australia where people will, say no to a job that may, be $5,000 salary less, but, they're still not putting things in place to make their money actually grow for them, which would, make them significantly richer down the track. So it's interesting.
So we got a comment there. Interestingly, I had a look on your YouTube channel. I noticed one of your most popular videos was one where you give 5 investment tips and the specific investments that you think are worth investing. A lot of people don't like to go down that path because if they're wrong, then makes them look silly. But you actually do have a question there, Brett Davis. What's some hot investment tips?
Well, as you know, mate, I'm definitely not a financial advisor, so I can't actually tell you what to do. But the first thing I would say is during this period, it's really important to make sure that you find companies that are strong financially. So obviously we know during COVID, they're going to take a hit to their revenue. We know that, their financial reports aren't going to look flash at this stage, but you need to look at their previous 10 years of history. So looking at their debt, making sure that they've got enough free cash flow to pay their debt off within 3 years. And then from there, just making sure you're looking at, has their management been around for a long period of time? Have they shown that they've got a history of coming through things like in the past, such as the GFC in 09, 2010. So there's certain things there that you can put in place to give yourself a leg up. We want to find companies that are going to come through the other side of this. And once they do, that you can make some serious money. A lot of the time, these share prices are dropping purely because the people are panic selling. It's not necessarily because the company is going to go out of business. So it's our job to find the difference between companies that are seriously in financial trouble or the companies that are genuinely just, have just dropped in price, but are still a strong company.
I'm here with you, mate. Just working out how to push buttons.
That's good,
so,
man.
Yeah, that's great. So interestingly, another comment there around passive income. So Ivan Newton has indicated a passive income, where you have your money make money for you. Do you think passive income is real? Because investment, while it sounds like it's you walk away from it and it does its thing, you've got to monitor it. It's not completely passive, is it? You're still working on watching your investment. You don't want to lose money neither, do you?
Yeah, well, exactly. But I feel like, so the number one sort of way people can sort of earn a passive income generally through shares is to look at what's called an ETF. So that's called an exchange traded fund. So what that's designed to do is it's not a company. So it's designed to track either a commodity or a group of companies or even just the entire index. So if the top 200 Australian companies, for example, all track on average up, then that ETF will track up. So effectively all you're doing is just placing money in the market. You're not actually trying to beat the market. All you're doing, it's basically like a superannuation fund with less fees. So that's the number one way people can generally find a fairly steady passive income.
Yeah. So that's good advice, and I hope that answered our Brett's question and also Ivan's question around finance. So for a rookie, you're doing pretty good, mate. You certainly know how to explain it. So keep it simple. So I hope you're making a lot of money, and I can't wait for you to invest as a venture capitalist in affordable.net. So that knock on the door will be coming. So
yeah,
your dad actually I spoke to you earlier too. Your dad's actually in real estate, so I'm going to hopefully have him on to talk about some of the because of COVID, some of the things that people can anticipate around buying and selling property and property investment. Even though he is a real estate agent, he's got his finger on the pulse of property investment. So we'll make sure we'll connect with him and everything like that. Is there anything you think right now that is an opportunity with COVID that people should be looking at or doing?
Are you referring to like the stock market or?
Well, yeah. Where's the best place do you think to invest money for a return at the moment? It may well be the stock market, or it may well be some sort of fund or something like that. Is there anything you like? Could you give us a hint where you're making all your money, mate?
Look, as I'd say, like the very first foremost thing you need to do if you're looking just to make gains over this period of time, it's going to be a long-term thing, but I think you need to start looking at ETFs. If you're a beginner investor, you certainly can't go wrong with an ETF fund. The Australian market as a whole, since its inception, like let's say 100 years ago, whatever the actual market was, it's basically given a return of about 9% per annum compounding. So basically what you're saying is by investing money in that, is the Australian economy going to grow in the next 100 years, or is it going to go backwards? So that's up for you. That's up to you to decide. But I'm pretty confident in the Australian economy, to be perfectly honest.
So it's interesting because Warren Buffett made all his money from investing, and he says if you're looking at stock markets, you can't be looking over the short term. There's a lot of people that play the short term stock market. And they play the what is it? I'm not good on finance, but the monetary exchange rates and things like that. Yeah. So trying to get a quick turnaround on their investment. But he's a long-term game type individual. Yeah. And the stock market has proven over time to actually, like you say, give a 9% return compounding year, like when you look at over 100 years. So, I don't think, you got to ride out the storms and be prepared to ride out that situation. I actually had a customer once who won Gold Lotto who invested a lot of money, and they actually lost during the global financial crisis. They were losing something like $35,000 a day. So their financial advisor actually advised them to stop looking at their bank account and their stock reports and things like that. That was the only advice they could give, which is good advice when their financial advisor is playing with their money. So, but they managed to. Here's the interesting thing: is they had their fingers in multiple pies, including bricks and mortar, so rental type properties and commercial properties. And they didn't go south. They lost money on the stock exchange at the time, but it didn't wipe them out because they had diversified their investments. But look, man, I appreciate your time tonight. I'll move on to the next guest who's sitting patiently waiting up in the top north of Queensland. But I've put your search there. People can find The Rookie Investor on YouTube. So James Rosenow, I wish you luck. Don't forget to wish your dad a happy Father's Day if you haven't already done so. I'm sure you have.
I did, mate.
Tell him we'll connect. Yeah, a bit late now if you haven't. He's down the Gold Coast, you told me. So haven't not given. So he's been in business 10 years now, I saw the other day. So that's awesome. So we'll connect with him to talk about real estate. So thanks for your time, man. And I hope you go well with your YouTube channel.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. See you, bud.
No worries. See ya. So fine young man there, used to coach James, and it's good to see him tackling, YouTube and having a go to see how he can go in helping others. And that's the one thing about YouTube that I've learned with a couple of YouTube channels is you have to help deliver stuff that your viewers want. So hopefully we're doing that tonight with Be My Guest. If you want to guest on the show, then all you've got to do is email mail@applaudable.net. That's you'll see it on the ticker there. Write that down if you want to be a guest, if you've got a business or you've got a passion that you want to share with the world. If you're on social media, whatever it may be, I'm happy to have a chat with you. This will be every Sunday night, and hopefully people can ask questions and engage. I'll do a couple of shout outs while I've got the microphone. So we got Jay Pickering, We did miss a question there, so I'll ask that Jimmy get onto that and answer that question for you, Jay. We got Ivan Newton. We had Alan Robinson earlier. Also Brett Davis and Mark Dean. So if you're still watching, guys, shout out to you guys, and I hope you're enjoying the show. On to the next guest. So our next guest I spoke with on People with a Passion. One of the earlier interviews, probably episode 6, probably due for a reshare if I haven't already shared it. And he actually has a 4-wheel drive YouTube channel. And I just want to touch base with him, see how COVID affected that, and also to see how the North Queensland is, because he since moved up there from Brisbane since I last spoke with him. So we'll check him out. So here he is, Tim Rumble. Good to see you again.
G'day, Craig. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. How's life treating you at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good at the moment, actually. Although I've just had 3 weeks off in the outback of Queensland, and I've got to get back to work tomorrow. So it's as good as it can be, mate.
Yeah, no, it's great. So you've got a YouTube channel. I've just thrown it up there. Search Tim Rumble on YouTube to find True Blue Overland. Now, question for you. You've got, I think, over 700 subscribers now, or 600 and something. Do you know what it is?
I think it's around 750, I think, last time I checked.
Yeah, so question, why have you not claimed your True Blue Overland channel? Do you know how to do that?
Well, that's it, mate. I don't know how to do it.
and this is exactly why I'm doing this as well, is because I want people to understand that if they want to ask me a question about social media or anything, that I can help them. So you can go in your settings on the back end of your YouTube. You can actually go and claim True Blue Overland and make it a channel if it's not already taken. So when people actually search True Blue Overland, they don't arrive at my interview; they arrive at your channel.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't know that. I assumed that once you had a certain amount of subscribers, you could possibly do that. But yeah, I didn't.
Had you have connected with me 650 subscribers ago,
right,
you could have claimed your channel. So you can go and claim your channel. So claim your channel so people can actually find it. I know if I search True Blue Overland, the very first video comes up is actually People with a Passion's interview with you, which is, is that right? Now, there's a reason for that, is because that is one of my searchable keywords as well. So inside YouTube, if you haven't had a look, you actually have searchable keywords. I think you have identified that make you appear. So that should be you would be ranking probably number 1, number 2, number 3 for True Blue Overland. I'm probably ranking number 1 for it at the moment. So you want to get that back. But yeah, just thought I'd ask that question because I figured you may not know. So go and do that. And that way make it easier for people to find you. But right now they can search Tim Rumble, which is your name, and they'll get you on YouTube for True Blue Overland. So last time we spoke on People with a Passion, we put a lot of footage and stuff up there, but you were about to do a trip up north to Cape York, and you hadn't done the trip yet. But since then, you're living up north now, so you've moved. Where'd you end up moving to? Where'd you move to?
Yeah, Mackay, and not that far north. It's considered North Queensland, but I don't know, on a map I think it's Central Queensland. But they claim North Queensland above Rockhampton, I think. Yeah.
So, and what's that been like for you? Because obviously you did most of southeast Queensland, you did a lot of the terrain, and COVID did hit, and I noticed they were closing a lot of the national parks, which you would have been spewing about.
Yeah, it was national parks is probably one of the main places I try to go. However, in saying that, it was only really for, I think, a month or so where you weren't really allowed to go anywhere. But to be honest, it's probably different in the city, no doubt. But in these, particularly Mackay, life didn't really change too much except for pubs shut and sports stop. So, yeah. That's about the only difference.
So I've got Ivan Newton. You probably know Grub, Ivan. So he's
yes.
My beef jerky is great now, Tim. Thanks for your tips. So you must have given him some tips about making some beef jerky at some point. Backstory there.
Well, it's funny because what you're just talking about with COVID, in that month or so where you couldn't really leave your home much, I decided I'd have a crack at making jerky. So I'd never made it before, but I just had a crack at it and put a video up of my first crack at it, and it actually turned out all right. The second time I tried wasn't so good, and I haven't had time to give it a third go yet. But I found a butcher down the road who makes quite good stuff, so I think while he's pumping out good stuff, I probably won't take the time to do it.
Yeah, so that tells you you've got a fan there who's watching your channel. So that's pretty cool.
Good on you,
yeah,
Grub.
We've just if anyone wanted to see the question, the answer to Jay Pickering's question he had earlier, which was this one I'm just showing from previous guest, would you invest overseas, Jimmy, or stay in Australia? James has answered that inside Facebook. So you can check out the comments. James is still there and still engaging as well. And if you've got any questions for Tim, who is into four-wheel driving, started his own YouTube channel, True Blue Overland, which will soon be claimed on YouTube, then make sure that you check it out. But this is an opportunity to ask some questions, because he's found a lot. One of his mottos is to like less is more, and if you can see it underneath his logo there. What I might ask you to do, Tim, is behind you is your brand, and I'm assuming that's been done with your laser cutter, is it, or whatever?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So are you turning that into an industry at all? Have you actually managed to make some money out of that now?
Oh, I've made some money out of it, but nothing to write home about. My brother actually owns a coffee shop in now I forget where he's at. Can't even remember the place in the hinterland of Sunshine Coast.
Do you talk to your brother much, mate?
And I actually do a lot of signs for him. So he's doing great guns up there. Umundi Coffee Co. And yeah, they're doing great. So every month I think he's ringing me up wanting signs in this sort of style. But yeah, I'm a sign writer by trade. So and my last job in Brisbane was a lot of engraving and a lot of creative stuff like that. So I have got my own laser cutter here at home, and just make stuff like this on the timber. So yeah, if anyone wants any of it, just hit me up. But trickle jobs through now and then, just out of the shed here. So, but probably not something I'm looking to do like full time. If I was doing it full time, it'd be all right. But to mix it with work, I go to work still every day, and then to come home and keep doing signs sometimes is a bit long in the tooth.
Yeah. So, but the idea of, I've talked with people with a passion all the time. So often if it can get to a point where you can sustain your own business and do something you enjoy, gives you that freedom. So you obviously purchased the machine. So, people, I did zoom in on that. I will zoom in on it again just to give people a good look at it. So basically that's laser printing on wood. Basically it's burning the wood, and you can finishes. I've seen you with other products where you've actually done different finishes that look quite effective and rustic. So being a sign writer, you can use that and make it look old or whatever. So it does work quite well in bars, works quite well in home, your home bars and things like that. It'd be the nice sort of idea for gifts and things. That's quite large, but you can do different sizes and stuff like that. So how would they be able to connect with you if they need to actually, they want something like that that's unique, that is customized, that they can produce? Is there something that they can do? I'll see if I can throw up a banner while you talk. Is there an email address or something?
Oh, they can just email me, but I don't advertise to do the work, but happy to do it for anyone. But my email address is just timrumbo@hotmail.com. Tim Rumbo.
I like it.
Rumbo was taken, otherwise it would be that.
So have a look on screen and tell me if I got it right. I got it wrong. So Tim Rum, no. So it's B-O. So we all know
Tim Rum, yes, on a Sunday there, right?
You all know what BO is when you go forward driving, mate. So check that one out.
That's
is that it? All right. So Tim Rum, no. So that's the non-alcoholic version of Tim Rum, no. So Tim Rumbo. So so at hotmail.com. So if you want some customized work done using, is it a laser cutter? Is that what it's called, or what's it called?
Yeah, laser cutter engraver. So
engraver. So people want that work done. Then Tim has a background, long history as a sign writer. I know he wrapped a couple of cars for some friends. So obviously you're working up north in that industry now. And how was that move for you, moving up north?
It was a bit how you're going at the start. I lasted in my first job for about a week. Actually, it was dead set a week. Just wasn't a very good experience. And but anyway, I moved on. Found a great place to work now, and good bunch of blokes, great boss. So yeah, it's really good. Landed pretty well, and yeah, the work's completely different. It's all mining based in this town. The mines basically run this whole show, and yeah, apart from that, it's been great. Like, as far as all the adventuring and full driving and camping and everything that we like to do on the weekends, and then also for longer trips like the one we've just done, it just puts us in a whole different geographical area, obviously, being up here. And yeah, heaps of different places to explore, and there's not as many people as back home in Brisbane, so you'll often find yourself rock up to a beach on a Friday afternoon, and when that magic hour hits, and we're the only ones on the beach. So it's just brilliant. Even when you go to the bush, you know, it's easy to find a spot to yourself in the bush, in the forest, wherever. So there's a few populated areas, but people generally just go there. They don't really go to too many other sort of places where you need to lock the hubs in and yeah, get over a hill or through a mud bog or something. They don't generally go there, but it's probably going to happen more and more now that you know, COVID's here, and well, it's not really here, but yeah, just people not traveling as far and those sort of things. They'll tend to explore their local area a bit more, I think. But certainly haven't seen it yet. So
yeah. So interestingly, we've a lot of tourist industries struggling right now. So there's never been a better opportunity than take advantage of, you know, seeing our own backyard. So Outback Australia, which I know you love, as was shared in the People with a Passion. We shared a lot of footage, B-roll in that People with a Passion interview over a year ago, which it has been over a year ago now. It's hard to believe.
Has probably. Oh, it has been over a year. But I was just thinking of when you said Cape York before. We literally just done a 3-week trip and came back basically the same time we came back from last year. So yeah. So I know you were planning that trip, and we discussed that. Interestingly, we talked about UFOs in that episode as well, and some weird lights in the sky and astro photography, and we shared some of your astrophotography, your work, and that's pretty good. So I imagine you're learning and improving. You're feeling that you're continuing to learn with everything you're doing with your YouTube channel and those hobbies that you've invested. Are you getting better? Yeah, I think so. I just one of the things that's quite hard to do, I think I mentioned this in that interview as well, but especially on the last trip we just got back from, it's hard to know when to, if you're experiencing something for the first time, it's hard to know when to put the camera down and leave it, as to, you know, try to capture it in some way. But but yeah, you don't really know, or I don't really know what I've captured until you get home and you've got to go through or everything and have a look. But certainly the photos are getting better. I think I'm basically just learning Photoshop a lot better. When I take the photos with the camera, I leave all the settings flat. And then found that you come home and you get on Photoshop and you play around a bit, you find out that, leaving the colors flat gives you a lot more sort of room to move when you're trying to manipulate colors, and basically just trying to get it how you saw it at the day or at the time or whatever. So
yeah, no, it's a good approach. Have you ever used use Adobe Photoshop? Have you ever used Adobe Lightroom?
No, I haven't got the Lightroom yet. I haven't paid for any software yet, Craig, but I understand that software costs a bit per month.
So you can go to Creative Cloud and you can actually subscribe for those softwares and cancel your subscriptions. So I think it's $30 a month or something. But Lightroom's worth looking at if you've got a lot of photos. But I know you were putting photos up onto some of the libraries to sell them. I know you weren't looking to make big coin out of that, especially at $1 a photo. But how's that going for you? And you sold any other photos?
Yeah, I think I've sold about 80. But yeah, like you said, only like $1. I think the most they pay is about $2.50 or $3.50 or something, depending on who buys it. But yeah, I've sold about 80. I think it was last time I checked. But I'm only using one site at the moment. So there's been another site mentioned to me called Pickfair.
Okay.
and apparently it's a little bit easy to use. Whereas like I only have been using Shutterstock, but the Shutterstock algorithm or whatever you want to call it, when you upload, sometimes you'll go through all the effort because you've got to like put keywords to each thing and like label it and like have titles and that, and then it'll go rejected.
Sorry, mate, I'm laughing because my brain works. I was going to suggest that maybe there's a better one called nude.com. You might make $80. But anyway.
Not me, mate. Not me.
No, sorry I interrupted you, but I can't.
That's all right. It's just
when it's inappropriate. I've got to work out how to mute myself and hide the cam when I get those thoughts in my head. Learning the software. This is the pilot episode, so sorry for interrupting you on that.
All good, mate. All good.
There are obviously platforms, and if anyone knows of any platform, we put the Rumble's email up earlier. There it is again. You can email him if you've got ideas that he can use with his photos, or if you're looking for photos also of Outback Australia for catalogues or for any work that you might be doing, that by all means reach out to Tim and send him an email. And he's got a pretty big catalogue now, even though you're not putting them all up there. I imagine you have a heap of photos. Yeah.
Heaps of photos.
So the I don't know if you looked into Lightroom, but just for those watching, the advantage of Lightroom, it allows you to batch convert a whole heap of photos with the same sort of settings. So when you take that original photo and you've used the one lot of settings in your camera, and it also allows you to apply a watermark to it, to every photo. So with OzSwoosh, with the stuff I do on OzSwoosh, I actually use Lightroom. So to batch modify all the photos. And then when I export them, and you can resize them, and then you just hit export, and it goes through and adds the watermark and makes the changes that you've applied. So very good when you're working with hundreds or thousands of photos. So, if people haven't checked out Lightroom, that's a bit of an ad for Adobe, but it is a product or a tool that
pay you, Craig.
Yeah, so one day they may well. But I want to make sure that people are getting value out of this broadcast, that they're learning something as well as what you have to offer, that I'm sharing with them some of the stuff that I know, having worked in graphic design in the print and promotional products industry for about 8 years of my working career. That's my background. As you know, you're a sign writer. I know we got some wrapping done and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if I ever designed or did anything that you ever produced for me. I did have some work done, but I can't remember whether we ever collaborated on anything. So
yeah, I can't remember, mate. So it might have.
I'm getting older, so it's not helping getting older. So, but man, I'll say I really appreciate it. I'll finish up. You are the last guest tonight, so I'll finish up. I do appreciate it. Good to see you. We were meant to catch up the last time you were down here, but COVID hit. So next time you're in town, if we're allowed to go and have a meal at the local sports bar, definitely do that. Keep pushing that True Blue Overland. I have watched some of it, but I don't have that much time that I can watch all of it. But I do, as you've probably seen, I've liked your photos. I watched a recent video where you climbed up, where you found there was an easy track and a hard track, and you thought you were you didn't know which track you were on, and then you discovered there was an easy one after you did the hard one. So you put your drone up. You found signs up there and a little can where you leave stuff in it. What did you leave in that? You left something yourself up there?
Yeah, we just wrote a little note, people just write notes in there and say, when they were there and whatever. But it was funny, interestingly enough, just a couple of weeks ago, a woman went up there by herself too, pretty gnarly, going up there by herself. But it was in the local paper apparently. We were away and we got sent it on Facebook or whatever. Got sent a link to the news article, but yeah, she got airlifted off there after she fell and broke a leg or something, and then luckily had phone service. The choppers couldn't find her, and that's pretty gnarly as well. But anyway, she eventually got airlifted off there. But yeah, good how you going? And unfortunately, those sort of incidences though, they'll shut the place down. That's what tends to happen with these sort of things. They just, once there's too many incidents, shut it down.
Yeah, going up on your own probably isn't advisable. I mean, I saw the terrain you were climbing, and there was some climbing involved. So I think you were carrying your drone at the same time. And you didn't have. I don't think you had your backpack, I think you were carrying it, and you realized. Oh, you did?
I had a backpack with just with water in it, like one of those backpacks with the Camelback, whatever it is. So yeah, that's all that was in that, and I could fit like a GoPro stick in there and my camera. But yeah, the drone it's one of those bigger ones, so the Phantom. So you carry it.
Yeah. So I've got a question. I always run these live streams until people get bored. Or so the question there from Brett Davis is, what's the most useful gadget off road that saved a trip for you?
Saved a trip. I don't know if there's ever been I don't really take many gadgets. As that less is more thing, I kind of we don't take that many gadgets, but something that saved us would be a winch. A winch has saved us a few times. When we're by ourselves. If you're not by yourself, then you usually got a mate with you. And my mate Tony Hyder on that same trip up to Cape York, he saved us by towing us 90 kilometres off the telegraph track after I put a fan through the radiator. But yeah, when we've been by ourselves, and there's we got bogged this one day 3 times, quite epically bogged. And if we didn't have a winch, we'd be there still because we're pretty remote and no one was around. But definitely a winch.
That's pretty good. And I think that story may be the one that you shared in the People with a Passion episode where you're on the mud flats. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. I won't forget that.
There's photos up on the interview that we did last year of that, of you. I don't think it's you getting, it doesn't show you getting out of the bog. It shows all the mud all over the car, and you explained that was that, and it shows the flats, and it just rained. You said you planned the trip and there hadn't been a rain for ages, and you decided to plan the trip, and all of a sudden it decides to rain a few days out of your trip, and you weren't expecting much water, but to your surprise, the water had soaked up but left mud for you.
Yeah, it's full on. But those videos of that are on YouTube as well, so people just go through that. It's about April, May last year, I think those went up.
Yeah, so I've got it up there. Search Tim Rumble on YouTube to find True Blue Overland, but do that quickly because in the next probably few hours you'll be able to search True Blue Overland and find True Blue Overland.
I probably won't get on the computer again tonight, but
I'm joking.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, make sure that you do that. That's pretty good. But thanks for your time, man. I really do appreciate you joining me on the pilot episode of Be My Guest. So with that, I say take care, mate, and look after yourself. And yes, less is more. So have a good one.
No worries, mate. You too. Thanks, Sam.
So that was Tim Rumble there from True Blue Overland. You can see the searches up there. So if you want to search for him, by all means, do so. If you want a guest on Be My Guest, which is my new live stream platform, I was doing live streaming with friends during COVID. However, the NRL decided that they would come back and take away the Thursday night. So I saw a drop in the audience. So I've started this channel or this live stream on a Sunday night. It's most likely to be 6:30 till 7:30 or thereabouts each week for a few weeks, at least until October 18, when my Ausswish basketball program actually moves to a Sunday. So then I'll probably move it to about 8:30. But if you want to be a guest, you can see the information's down there tickering on the ticker. You can join, Be My Guest, email me and I'll connect with you and we'll arrange a time. So the way Be My Guest, if you watch tonight, you'll see that the guests have all come in. They've all spoken for roughly 15 to 20 minutes. I chose to have 3 as a test tonight. My goal will be to try and have about 4 different people talking about their passion, their business, their social media, or whatever drives them. Sharing their information. Be sure to, if you want to see any of the people that I spoke to tonight, Richard Bolaffi, Australian New Zealand Basketball Scouts. We had James Rosenow, who is the rookie investor on YouTube and talking about personal investment, and also Tim Rumble, if you're into 4-wheel drives, then he joined us there. Don't forget, you can also check out People with a Passions. This will go up on People with a Passion for you to watch later. If you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, then please take a moment to actually do that, and also hit that notification bell to be advised when new videos and live streams are uploaded. I've done 2 seasons of People with a Passion. to date. So if you want to go check out the channel, there's 40 interviews up there. And I'm looking at doing season 3 next year. I'll also be headhunting guests to interview this side of the year for next year. So make sure you actually go and check out the People with a Passion YouTube channel. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter and all the socials. So like, follow, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your night tonight. If you liked what you saw this evening and you've got any feedback, please feel free to leave a comment or private message me. That's fine too. And I'll take what you have to say on board. I hope you enjoyed tonight's guests. Next week, we're giving away pizza voucher. So make sure you tune in for your chance to win the Domino's pizza voucher. I think it's 2 pizzas, a drink, and a garlic bread with thanks to Domino's. That's usable anywhere in Australia. And thanks to the CEO of Domino's for giving us several vouchers to hand out over the next few weeks. So Don Mage is a legend. As many Australians know. So hopefully one day we'll get to speak with him too. Take care. Enjoy your week. Happy Father's Day for those who are fathers. And I'll join you again next week with a whole heap of new guests. So take it easy and all the best. And hopefully next time you'll be my guest.